spotlight.
Cool, well, casters are ready. GG, GLHF.
WW. Oh, this map. This map. This is the only one I recognize by sight.
This is going to be interesting. I wonder if anybody's going to rush to lift off and drop in the middle at the gold.
I will throw my monitor out the window immediately if that happens.
I've seen it happen a few times, and I think TVT is a good matchup for it because people don't often move out so quickly in TVT, whereas versus TVZ and TVP, you get a lot of early pressure from Terran, but I don't know. We'll see.
My third multiplayer experience in StarCraft was this map with my friend, and we were both Terran, and that's exactly what he did. Lifted off straight to the gold. Horrible, horrible Marine push and seat.
Yeah, once they're at the gold, they get about 3 bunkers with reactors and just swarm you with Marines, and you can't do a whole lot about it.
Oh, so good. I also like Reapers on this map. I hope we see some of those.
I haven't seen those in a long time, actually. I'd like to see them in this tournament. That'd be pretty interesting.
Yes. Yes, it would.
Alright. Well, we're at it. I'll go ahead and you can introduce the first player and I'll take the second.
Alright, over here on the left we have PachecoOwnz, victor of the previous game.
A very solid victory indeed. And up here on the 3 o'clock position we have Cartmanism, the red Terran, who held off pretty strong actually, despite being behind in by 2 bases in the last game. So I'm pretty interested to see how this is going to work out this game.
Yeah, he had a pretty good understanding of what to do with the siege tanks versus the siege line, so he must see it quite often in ladder.
That's one thing that struck me pretty instantly was that despite being so behind in income, he was still not just even but ahead in army. So he must have a really good sense of how to outplay a TVT with that hybrid bio build with the tanks behind it. So he's a pretty strong player. I'm interested to see how this match is going to play out.
We'll see if they try to metagame each other with Cloak Banshees, maybe Reapers. Who knows?
Maybe this time Cartman will actually remember to get the cloak, if that's what it was last time, if he forgot about it.
I think he just wanted to get a few Banshees out to harass and move some units to the back of his base so he could siege up out front.
Yeah.
That's usually how I like to use it, if I can get them out at all.
So, pretty much mirrored builds coming out so far, so... But I guess early game you don't really see much variation.
No. Yep, 1 refinery. 1 barracks. It's not even finished yet.
Now, I think what's interesting is that Cartman's actually got his scout into Pacheco's base before Pacheco even had it out, I believe. So he's going to be able to see where this tech path goes before Cartman even finds his opponent, which he's just coming up on now. So he's been blocked out by the second supply depot, so he's not going to get too much scouting information. So the Cartman is pretty much free to do whatever he likes without having too much to worry too much about what his opponent is going to see and not see until he gets that orbital out and gets a scan in his base.
Yeah, which will be probably a couple more minutes yet until we see that, if we see it at all. And here's the variation. We see Cartman going for the factory and Pacheco is again going for the barracks.
Yeah, and there's the Reaper actually coming out from Pacheco. Just like we were talking about. Alright, good stuff. Good stuff.
You've got a lot of Reapers queued. Looks like he wants to do some damage.
I think that's safe to say. Now, I know that in ZVT you gotta use your queen to sort of maneuver around the buildings and get the Reaper without creating too many links to fight it off, but in TVT, how do you deal with Reapers, essentially?
Well, the only way Cartman can really deal with them is if he were to build a few Hellions, or otherwise he's going to have to deal with it with pure Marines, which, if he can control his Marines well, he shouldn't have too much problem with cornering them and taking them out. But until then, they're going to cause some damage. Three Hellions are enough to one-shot 2 SCVs, I think. 1.5 shot 2 SCVs.
Yeah. So it looks like Pacheco's moving up now, and this is going to be pretty effective at keeping Cartman in his base, I think, because his Marines are going to be worrying about getting those Hellions out of there. And damn, they take them down quick. I did not even realize.
Yeah, they've only got 50 HP. If he would have skirted that factory, he probably could have... Well, he probably could have gotten a few SCV kills, but then they would be dead.
Yeah, he could have worked his way into the mineral line there, but I think he wants to keep them alive and try to do something with them later on.
Yep.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, we have an SCV down in the bottom of the map for Pacheco. I don't know if he's going to try to hide an expansion or what, but...
It might be a possible hit on that starport.
That's true too. It is behind the gas vision blocker thingies. So let's keep my eye on that SCV and let you know if anything comes out of it.
And Cartman's got 2 Marines up there, or 1 Marine, but he's just... 1 Marine isn't enough for 2 Reapers. Fortunately, there was a Hellion there to stop him.
Yeah, so now we have Tech Lab starport coming up with a few Vikings. I think he wants to try to get a little bit of map control. Cartmanism, I mean. He's trying to get a little map control and see exactly where Pacheco is moving out to and what he's essentially trying to do.
Yep, we've got the factory building the reactor for an as yet unknown building.
We'll have to see how that plays out. And a few siege tanks coming out for Cartman as well. Now, he already has the siege tech, so I think he's going to try to fortify here for an expansion, if I'm not incorrect.
I do believe that is what he's doing. He brought out one Raven. Is that what he built? Yeah. 1 Raven for Cartman, and Pacheco's also going for a starport, but with a reactor. So possible for some severe medevac action.
Yep. And about 10 minutes, or 9 minutes into the game, sorry, these supplies are pretty much even, but I think that's a little to be expected. There hasn't been too much damage on the either side, so they've both been kind of free to do what they like. And Pacheco's already got his expansion down, so Cartman's just getting ready to drop his, so hopefully Cartman can get that saturated pretty quick and catch up in income here.
If they're really even on workers, and army supply looks identical.
That's true.
Looks like it's going to be a battle of the micro, maybe.
A battle of attrition. So we'll see how this plays out. Now for army... Yep.
About TVT is you got to wait for the big engagement to happen.
Now, as BYOB is pointing out to me, we see a medevac moving out on the top end for Pacheco. And I'm wondering if he's going to go unscouted mostly, because...
I think he's going to fly right into a
bunch of turrets.
Shit ton of turrets.
Yes, and the Viking actually sees it now, and I think it's going to be picked off without doing any damage whatsoever, unfortunately. 3 Marines got out of it. Yeah, now they're just going to get eaten up by the siege tanks. So.
That wasn't too effective.
So here we are back at square one, basically. Both players trying to get their economy going. And it seems like Cartman's got a lot more minerals floating. He's got a lot more options to go with as to army production and where he wants to go with this. So I think that may mean that he's got this Viking on patrol up top in front of his base to watch for any more medevacs coming out. I think he's going to try to maybe get another third out there, but I don't know. It's kind of strange to call because he's got 3 barracks going down right now also, actually, so...
Yeah, and there goes the third. Both players currently in construction of their third base.
Yep.
Pacheco's got a nice force of Marines up at his third to defend against any drops.
He does, actually. That's a lot of Marines out of... Well, they could be out of position if Cartman were to move in with his mobile force of Hellions and Marines that he's got down there. So if he takes a look at this with his Marine that's coming up now, then maybe he'll get the sense to come in and try to do a little damage in the front line.
Maybe. He's got 2 more factories going down, too.
So this is going to be interesting.
I can definitely tell this is Group B because neither player has been supply blocked for more than 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's one interesting thing that I've noticed a lot with TVT is that building supply depots is a bit of a different mechanic, and then Cartmanism actually has dropped a few of the supply... I don't know what you call those.
They're called supply drops, I think.
Yeah, I really wish I knew more about Terran for you guys in stream to make it more interesting. But yeah, he dropped a few of those, so he's opting to spend his APM a little more efficiently with macroing up rather than building supply depots and stuff like that. So, and Pacheco is actually moving out to the gold right now, and I think Cartman, he's got no vision of this. He's got none of the towers controlled. He's got Marines outside his base, so he can't really do too much.
No, I think Pacheco established early with the Reapers that he's going to have the map control, even though Cartman hasn't really moved out a whole lot to take it, even though he's got a Viking and a Raven out.
That's true, and these Marines moving down to the third for Cartmanism, and they're going to stim and move right in. I think this orbital might be in a bit of trouble. Or command center even. It's not an orbital yet, but hopefully it'll manage to get there one day.
One day. And Cartman cleans that up nicely.
And once again, back to square one. Now, I think Cartman's really going to need to see this gold expansion by Pacheco that's now a planetary fortress, so it's going to be a little more difficult for him to do anything about, but if he manages to get clear off this top watchtower and maybe get a siege tank up there, he can pick off those SCVs and the supply depots as well, while Pacheco doesn't really have much to answer that with. And he just put the scan down now, so he sees the gold there. I'll be interested to see what he reacts to this with.
Yeah, looks like he's going to move out straight to it.
A few medevacs, a few Marines, a few siege tanks, and if he can get the right positioning up before he attempts to move into this force, which is actually moving down, and oh no, it's going to catch all these siege tanks unsieged. All these Marines are getting eaten up.
Oh, but the medevacs keep his Marines alive just long enough for the siege tanks to take care of them.
The medevacs saved those Marines' life. They owe them their lives. Medal of Honor to those 3, well now 2 remaining medevacs. So they're going to pick up and try to move in over top of the siege tank that Pacheco has up there, but whew, that planetary's putting in work.
Planetaries are such a pain to deal with.
I think that's this general consensus no matter which race you play, actually. They're pretty annoying to deal with.
Yes, because not only can you not move in to take them out, but once you do, you lose units.
Yes.
Guaranteed every time.
It's guaranteed damage no matter how you decide to take them out. So I see that the supply actually is swaying greatly in Cartmanism's favor, and I think that this last engagement went very well for him, so he's going to try to move up and take a dominant position here at this gold expansion for Pacheco. And oh, with those siege tanks right outside of range of the orbital or the planetary, he managed to take it out pretty quick.
Oh yeah, that building did not last long.
Did not stand much of a chance. So now if Cartmanism's up 1 base, and if he can hold on to this lead, he can maybe outproduce Pacheco straight up and manage to take a game off of him.
Now while that engagement was happening, Cartman has managed to sit down, planetarize, and he's beginning to saturate his third. Yeah, he's in a pretty good position now.
He's got a very strong economy going, so Cartman is in a very strong place. and deciding to move out into the Pacheco, up into this line here, with only a few siege tanks.
So many siege tanks.
That is so many siege tanks. Oh my god.
That's the new mannerism for casters. Instead of so many Banes, it's so many siege tanks.
Just like I heard you say last time, terrible, terrible damage. That is, oh.
I do like the Manor Mule coming down from Pacheco though, on top of Cartman's siege tanks, because they take a slight bit of damage.
Yeah, I think what he was hoping to do is more what Zerg does with infestors, and try to throw like an infested Terran on top of the siege line and have them kill each other basically. But yeah, it's not looking very too well for him. Pacheco's getting overrun right there inside his own base, and there's the GG.
There is the GG.